Hi guys, welcome to another Monday Mini Talk, the show where we talk all things Warhammer and other hobby related stuff. And after a long break, we are back to actually talk about some very exciting news. We got new AOS, actually in two somewhat different versions. We got new codexes for 40k, which is nice, but it feels like something was still missing from that preview. We got new plastic mechanicum that is really incredible and is something that the community has been asking for a long time. And we got an incredible new starter box set for a Necromunda expansion that answers the question, what if we all went freaking nuts? So let's get into the reveals. We will start with the more boring stuff and leave the juicy AOS for the latter part of the video. So, for the 40k we got two new codexes, which we all knew was coming from the roadmap. That being the Adepta Sororitas, or Sisters of Battle, and the Genestealer cults. And both of these factions got the same familiar treatment of, you are not the most desperate for new minis, so here is just one HQ and be happy. So we got the new Canoness with Jump Pack, which is a stunning new model, don't get me wrong. And the customization for her is really great. Now I don't know who decided for this picture, but it immediately reminded me of the whole story arc of a whole Imperial fleet succumbing to the Khorne murder curse at the end of the last edition. Does anyone else remember that? Because this red lady with an eviscerator feels really Khornish. Of course she got a new battle box for the codex release. Unfortunately I feel like it will meet the same fate as the latest Chaos Space Marine battle boxes. And that goes for the Genestealer as well. Something tells me that the machines making sprues might be occupied with other things. So, no high hopes. We also got a new combat patrol, which actually feels like a nice starter for an army and a good fit for multiple purchases. And the same can be said about the new GSC combat patrol, which feels a lot less horde-ish than the GSC we have been seeing for the past year or so. But the new mini for this release is just something else entirely. I mean, this is a complete reverse on the Canoness we saw earlier. It's a monopose HQ that fills a specific slot in your army, but man, this mini is really just something. And it also comes with a new battle box, this time focused more on the punch and brute force of the GSC, and again, that is really good and fun way to play. Especially if you consider how expensive this army really is. This is a nice starting point for at least one of the detachment, and let's face it, these units will probably be good in all of them. But talking about a good starting point for an army, GW released a brand new plastic range for Horus Heresy, that being Mechanicum. And we got actually a lot of things, so let's first check out the minis and then talk more about the game. So we got here basically the same treatment as the Solar Auxilia a few months ago. We have a box set for the army that contains 20 tech trolls and a nice and previously very expensive transport, and I believe this is the largest transport in the game. We got 6 Talax with a lot of different guns and 2 Castellax Automata. Not in the box, but released separately, we got a big boy Thanatar, Siege Automata, and our new HQ, the Archmagus Prime. So this is a hefty reveal and something you can base your army on. But the box itself is nice, but we will have to see the price. Plus, I have 2 slight concerns. There is no HQ in the box, and all the units are just troops. So altogether it's something like a 600 points, give or take, which is not that exciting. If the price is nice and you can buy 2 of these plus the new HQ, that gives you almost 1500 points. And maybe you can fit the big guy in there somewhere, and that is an army you can play with. But still, I hope that we get more things released, and when the Mechanicum Knights variants start to pop up on the shelves, the 1500 points I talked about will be a very nice starting point for our larger games. Now the most exciting thing about this, honestly, is that out of all the released factions in the books, the GW has been really consistent lately in giving us the plastic options. So now we can actually start a plastic army of Space Marines, obviously, but also Solar Auxilia and New Mechanicum, plus the Knights have kinda always been around. And that is a huge shift from the beginning of this new edition, where you just had Space Marines and Space Marines every Thursday. Also, that is really more of a selfish thing from me. But now we're left just with two armies that we have rules for, but not really a model equivalence, especially in plastic. The Custodies and the Sisters of Silence. And that gets me really excited. After the release of the new Codex Custodies for 40k, I have decided to shift the army I have more into the waters of Horus Heresy. And I printed some Forge World tanks to try it out. So if with our release we actually got plastic dreadnoughts, or all the special weapon variants, or all the special Terminators, that would be sick. And the same goes for the Sisters of Silence, where, the range is basically non-existent. So it is really a good year so far for the Heresy, and it is shaping up to be even better. The last actual reveal we got for the 40k was the new Necromunda starter set. This one is just batshit crazy. I have no idea about any of these gangs, but the narrative they talked about is actually sick. And these new minis are just incredible, plus what the hell is this vampire baby? All the minis are incredible, and the team did an incredible job of actually making them feel really different to their more fleshed out counterparts in the main 40k story. And well, it is all from the Saturday reveal show, and honestly it was kinda bittersweet. Like the Heresy and Necromunda stuff is just incredible. And the 40k reveals were mostly meh, but expected. But what is really bothering me, that we have just no idea what is next. I mean, do you guys remember the nice roadmap they showed us in the beginning, and they updated like once and then never again? Well, I guess someone must have forgotten, and I know we have that redacted codex coming up next, and when they reveal that it is Agents of the Imperium, they will probably show us the map again with the future releases, but I mean, it is May now. We are getting releases that were set for the summer. Why not a little bit of a teaser for what is to come? I mean, that would be like all we wanted from this reveal show. Just one of their classic super jumpy videos showing a bunch of stuff but nothing really concrete. We'll probably have to wait for the elephant in the room to finally hit the shelves to get some juicy reveals for the 40k. And that is fine, I guess. But speaking about the elephant, we got the full preview of the Age of Sigmar 4th edition starter box set, the Skaven Tide. And holy moly, that is one hell of a chonker. In this box we have a bunch of new minis for both Stormcast Eternals and the Skaven, which also consists of two new Spearhead warbands, about that later. We also get some nice terrain for, and you better hold on to something, a double-sided game board. You also get two hefty rulebooks, one general and one just for the Spearhead cards, and a general handbook card for the next season of AOS 4. So you can actually buy this box, build it, everything what is inside, and immediately play a game in two different game systems. Only thing you need to buy that is not in the box are some dice, and that is absolutely huge. And all of that for £160, which we know because of all the terms of conditions. And honestly, that is still the standard price for this type of boxes, and I know it's still not cheap, but the value it gives you is just insane. From the excitement you can probably tell that I am getting this thing, and I am playing it, although not with any of these two factions, more on that later. But let's take a look at these two factions. So first, the Stormcast Eternals, the poster boys for the whole game, quite often compared to the Space Marines of 40k, which I can see the point and the similarities, but also these new minis are sick as hell, so I don't really care. But I have to say the model range they have now feels really similar to one another, especially for the new player. But they actually made a good design decisions here, it seems. So we got a bunch of HQs, which all look very different, and which it looks to me like they will have very different roles on the battlefield. Honestly, my favorite has to be this guy, because he is so different to all the other Grimdark series dudes we get. This is straight up fantasy adventurer on his epic quest, and I love it. He has the same feel as the Warcry warband we got a few months ago for a starter set, and a little spoiler, the same warband I painted as a tryout for my SCE paint scheme. And that will be posted here on the channel in the upcoming weeks. The rest of the Stormcast just looks the part, but I like that. And I kinda feel like it's finally being the elite force it should be in the lore. Now for the Skaven, this is some good stuff. The Claw Lord is just perfect, and is actually much more menacing and better looking than in the trailer, but again, for me the ultimate winner of this Skaven range, and probably the whole box, is the Grey Seer. The model is just incredible, and a nice homage to the old school Grey Seer, and I love it. The rest of the range is quite good as well, but not really something to stand out gorgeous, but lately I feel like the consistency of just great miniatures is something the AOS studio is very recognizable and should be proud about. But as I mentioned in the beginning, this box is not just about the minis. The main value of this box is mainly in the rulebooks. We have a whole separate book for the Spearhead and a cards and a game mat for the same game. So as I said, you can just take the box and play day one. And that for me is something the Combat Patrol should have been. We don't know the rules or honestly anything really, but this is just confidence in the product. And when you see company not just trying to sell you the product but actually believe in it, as well and as be confident that this is a game system that will stick around for some time and will get support, it is just great to see. The last thing we have is actual general rulebook with very nice Lorgar Aurelian art on the cover. This is a hefty book, and it finally seems like they are doing what they should have done in the beginning, and what the main problem of the AOS is, in my opinion. They are really expanding the lore and the background of the universe and making their own story, and that is what will bring the new people to read these stories and to play the stupid game, and that is just great. This really is shaping up to be the year of the fantasy. And I for one can't be more excited to get into Age of Sigmar. And I hope you as well. I hope you enjoyed the video and me rambling for some time, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel grow. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.